Hey folks, my name is Brian. You're watching Survival on Purpose. Today's video is going to be about the Schrade SCHF2SM one-piece hollow handle survival knife. And it's a pretty cool knife actually. I've been using this one a little bit. But this is kind of like Schrade's take on the Rambo style knife that was real popular, you know, with the hollow handle, with the survival kit and stuff in the handle. And you can still buy them today. I think you can get one at Harbor Freight for under 10 bucks or 15 bucks. They've generally got big plastic handles with compasses and little fishing kits and all that in them. And a tang that's about that long that is going to break the first time you try to chop with it or use it in any kind of heavy duty survival situation. This, again, is created of one piece drop forged steel. We're going to go into the details and the specs in just a minute, but what I think is cool about it is that it's just solid as a rock. It's got a knurled handle. It is, you can see the shape of the handle kind of fits in here. It fits your hand really well. This is the, again, this is the SCHF2SM, stands for small. It's a clip point design. It has a larger brother or sister, depending on your reference, I guess your taste in knives, that is about a blade about this long and has it partially serrated, and the handle's a little beefier. And there's also a spear point design in the same size. So let's take a closer look at it. All right, well, this is the Schrade SCHF2SM small extreme survival one-piece knife. And you can see this is, again, similar to the big brother of SCHF2. This is a one-piece hollow handle design. So from the tip to the butt, it is absolutely one piece of drop forged SCA 1070 high carbon steel with a matte finish on it. This particular model, the smaller models, have a non-serrated blade. This is a clip point. There's also a spear point available, which is the SCHF1SM, I believe. But both the smaller models have a non-serrated blade. Speaking of the blade, this blade is 5.6 inches long from tip to here, and the overall length is 10.3 inches, here to here, obviously. And the weight on this thing is about 13 ounces. So it's a little less than a pound, a little more than 3/4 of a pound. It also features a waterproof hollow handle, and it comes with a belt sheath, which is pretty cool. So we'll take a closer look at the sheath in a minute. All right, so again, it was a closer look at some of the specs and details. I did want to show you, this thing comes with all these one-piece knives. They come with like a toolkit inside of them. Here's what I do with the toolkit. Take it right out, okay? And then there's a lanyard that runs through here, which is fine. You can take that right out. If you look inside now, you have a hollow handle, which is too small for me to get my finger in, but my little finger's in it, and it won't reach the bottom. So this thing is, well, the whole handle, as you can see, is hollow. So there's a pretty good bit of room in there. You can get a lot of stuff in there. You can get fire starters in there, a fishing kit. Its balance point is about right there. So that's pretty good. It really feels really good in your hand. Carves good. It's got the little built-in mold, I guess forged in finger guards there. It kind of semi-choil on top and bottom. It's really hard butt. You can hammer with that if you want to. It's got the O-ring seal. I didn't show you that. It's got an O-ring seal right there, and you could replace that if it needed to be with just a standard plumbing O-ring you could find in any hardware store. Clip point design, got a very, very sharp point. Pretty good edge from the factory. And again, this is SCA-1070 high carbon steel, so it will rust if you scratch the finish like I've done using the Ferro rod. But all in all, it's I just like this knife. It is very solid. I always kind of liked the concept of the Rambo knife. I just never liked the designs that were available. This one kind of fits the bill. It, again, is non-serrated for those of you who like that. A little smaller than the larger cousin. This thing's offered in 4 different versions. You got this size knife with a clip point and a spear point, which are going to be the SM suffixes on the SCHF1 and 2. And you got a larger blade with both spear and clip point with some serrations here. So let's see how well this thing works. Okay, so before we get started cutting with the SCHF2SM, let's take a look at the sheath. You can see this one, I had a little issue with the bigger brother, the SCHF1, with a little movement in the sheath. This one, because of the placement of the strap here, just is a little tighter, so it doesn't move quite as much. Other than that, the sheaths on all the survival knife series are essentially the same. Let's take a closer look. So we've got a removable pouch on the front, which is a really cool feature, and velcros and buckles shut, which is good, very secure. It's got elastic on the front of it here, so it stretches out. It's expandable, and it's a pretty good size. You can get a lot of stuff in there. Okay, this thing actually removes from the back. There's a snap and velcro strap here, and 2 velcro loops on the back, and this thing just removes. And in addition, you've got another this strap here on the back. Just provides another attachment point, very secure attachment point. It has a lanyard at the bottom, and the belt loop at the top is one of the velcro flap overs. Not too sure how I feel about that. Seems pretty secure. It gives me a little leeriness, you know, because it is possible to dislodge during, you know, really violent activity or whatever, but it seems to be pretty secure. You can loop it over. It does give you the ability to take this on and off your belt without removing your belt. And last of all, it's got the strap retention, which is adjustable by Velcro, so you can just kind of move the snap wherever you need it to make it tighter or looser to your preference. And like I said, it has a plastic liner inside. The knife goes in the liner, and then just snaps shut like so. And it's good retention. There's nothing wrong with it. So there you go. Okay, so one of the things you might need a survival knife for is chopping, coming up with some firewood, and I've got a piece of downed spruce, I think it is. This is some sort of evergreen. It gets pretty big. I'm not really familiar with the mountain species as well as I should be, but just being honest. But I've already chopped one end of it with the SCHF1 when I was doing that review. So we'll check this one out and see how well the smaller knife chops. Go ahead and tighten this lanyard up. I'm not usually really big on lanyards, but I'll tell you that this particular case, the grip of this knife, the shape of this knife handle is not, it's kind of round, so it does kind of want to tend to maybe slip in your hand a little bit. This gives you a little better purchase probably. Especially with the shorter blade. Okay, I'm going to readjust this lanyard because it's still too long and this knife's wanting to slip out of my hand, which is not safe, and it's also not as effective for chopping. You can get this thing where you get the best leverage, you're going to be further down the handle. So I think what I'm going to do is just go ahead and really get it on my wrist, which will make it difficult to get off, but it'll make it easier to use. That's much better. Okay, Okay, so here's the piece of wood we just chopped with the SCHF2SM. And in the real world, you don't have flat pieces of firewood and chopping blocks, so we're going to do the best we can with what we got here. Go ahead and see if we can smooth that up a little bit. And get her going. I like to try to baton on a solid base if possible, just because it makes it, gives you a little more impact. Not a problem. Okay, so sometimes you need to do it on the ground, at least to get it good started. Okay, well, obviously you're going to have a limit of probably 3.5 inches of wood, but I don't see any problem with batoning with this knife. I mean, it's a solid hunk of steel, you know. So while we're here, we might as well see how well it carves. I can tell you it has a reasonably good edge on it. It's not razor sharp by shaving sharp by any stretch of the imagination, but it is pretty good. So we'll just see if we can get a feather stick out of this wood we just split out. Okay, well, I'd say that's great. Very, very, very fine shavings on the bottom. The edge geometry here just lends itself very well to that kind of work. I think I think it's like a semi-hollow ground. I'll try to get that information and put it in below because I couldn't find it immediately. But again, does a great job. All right, as always, I want to make sure any knife that I carry for a survival situation is going to be able to strike a fire steel. This happens to be one I made and put a fat wood handle on. It's a great idea. You ought to try that if you haven't. It just gives you some good tender here. But let's just see what happens. The back of this thing is not super sharp. And the coating, I don't know how the finish, if it's going to impact it, but we'll just see. Okay. Okay, so that's pretty good. And I think what you'll see is first couple times I had to kind of wear the little finish off of it. And once that happens, it starts striking pretty well. So we passed the strike test. All right, so once again, that is the SCHF2SM. This knife's available for around 50-60 bucks most places. And like I showed you, it is really balanced. If you're one of those guys or gals, is gals a sexist term? I don't know if people don't like that anymore. If you're a male or female who for some reason likes to maybe throw knives, it's very well balanced. Now I'm not recommending throwing knives. I'm sure that Schrade does not recommend throwing knives. That would possibly void the warranty on this knife. But if you do that, it might work okay. Okay, well that's the Schrade SCHF2SM, that's right. I can never get these numbers right. And that's the one of the smaller one-piece extreme survival knives. So this is a quick recap of how it did. On the batoning, did very well. I mean, it's a solid hunk of steel. It's going to baton, there's no doubt about it. The edge geometry, this thing's wide enough at the top, and it's got a semi-hollow ground, feels like. It actually splits wood pretty well. It's got enough of a solid surface to hit. You're going to be limited, obviously, with the size of wood you can baton by the size of the blade. But did a great job on batoning. Chopping, honestly, this is not the greatest chopper in the world. I was trying to chop about a 3-inch piece of wood, as you saw. And the handle shape, it doesn't really have anything in the back, so it kind of wants to slip out of your hand. There's not anything really to grab hold of back here to get a backwards, kind of a deep chopping grip on it. So in this case, this is one of the few cases I'm going to use a lanyard on the knife. I'm going to tighten it up where I can, and probably a little tighter than this actually, where it'll keep the knife from slipping out. Because you want to, the further back you get, the more leverage, obviously. So chopping, it's probably a 3.5. It's not a great chopper. It got the job done. It's just going to take a little longer. From carving standpoint, straight out of the box, this thing did a great job on feather sticks. I mean, it just carves good. There's no doubt about it. The balance is good. The handling's good. It's a great carving knife. And ferro rod, once you get the little finish off, did a great job on the ferro rod. It's got the addition of having the hollow handle. I'm gonna be honest with you, I think no knife does everything perfect, and there's always compromises. So when you lose a little bit on the chopping, you're gonna lose a little bit because of the size on maybe on the batoning, but that's perfectly fine. Great job on the carving, just striking. I mean, it does everything a knife needs to do. In a survival situation, I would be more than confident having this with me if this was my only knife. And you could actually have some survival gear in here. You got additional pouch on the sheath. I give this thing overall like a 4.95. I love this knife. It is really great. So once again, that's the SCHF2SM by Schrade. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it, as always, watching my videos, subscribing to the Survival on Purpose YouTube channel, giving it the thumbs up if you like this video. Let your friends know you think they'll like it. And mosquitoes. If you like to support this channel, you can check out my Amazon store below. Anything you get on there helps support the channel and go straight to Amazon. Once again, my name is Brian. You're watching Survival on Purpose. Remember, survival is not an accident, so be prepared. See you next time.